Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverley and it is so lovely to see you today. In today's video we are going to be doing a review of this book by Oracle Hekateos, hopefully. Witchcraft, Ancient Greek Magic for the Modern Witch. So grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. So before we get into it, I always have to make a little disclaimer that this book was not gifted to me. This is not sponsored content. This is not an advert. This is just me. I bought a book that I was interested in that recently came out, and here I am doing a review in case you're interested in Greek witchcraft and maybe you just like book reviews. I love book reviews, I watch a lot of them, so I thought we would sit together and do this, but I definitely wanted to let you all know. And with that in mind, please do check out the links in the pinned comment to my Ko-fi and my Patreon, because those are the people that are really keeping these books going, keeping these reviews going. I couldn't afford to buy them without you, so a big huge thank you to everybody who's ever donated to the channel. It is so appreciated. No pressure, but it's a huge help. So let me put my little book to one side and we are gonna grab my phone, and as always I have it all written out here, so let's get to it. So the first thing is that I really enjoyed the introduction. It was very raw, very honest, and I loved learning more about Hecate and about how they have met with Hecate and understand her. It's a different side to the goddess to the one that I work with, but I think she knows I'm easily scared, and I think that's why she's come into my life, to kind of make me braver. So I think that's basically why she's here for me. So it was very interesting to hear another side of her and another type of her. I definitely get more of like a motherly, it's okay, you can do this kind of energy from her. I just really enjoyed hearing somebody else's view of this scary goddess who I was terrified of. When she came to me at first I was like, I'm not working with you, you're scary. And now I just love her to death. I think she's amazing. Love her to death, and she's a psychopomp. Oh, do you see what I did there? I really enjoyed as well the history that they put into this book. It was so interesting to hear about all the different types of witches throughout history in Greece. It's really hard to find information about Greek history, at least it is here. I hear a lot of stuff about Celtic, which is another branch of my family tree, but I really would love to learn more about Greek witches, particularly folk magic. So if anybody knows any books that are about Greek folk magic, definitely let me know in the comments. This was more ceremonial, but the history portion of it was really interesting, and how differently they were viewed back in the day. We're not, well, not much has changed really. We're still seen as the rebels and the outsiders, but it's just interesting to hear how people were seen in the past and how potentially my ancestors could have been seen in the past. So that was really cool. I love as well that we had a whole chapter on ethics. Ethics in witchcraft is something that's really important to me. I've spoken about it a lot, about decolonising my craft, about not following the whole, you know, I can practice whatever I want and I can talk about dream catchers and I can mess around with chakras and it's all perfectly fine. I don't agree with that, and I think the ethics of thought it was interesting and very good to know that the ethics that are around Greek witchcraft very much align with my own. And it's really good to learn about the ethics of any kind of witchcraft practice that you're thinking of getting into or you feel drawn to. Look into the ethics of it. Does it align with your own ethics? Because that, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If it aligns with what you believe, then it's right for you. So just make sure. That's all I'm saying. I have to be honest and say this is not a type of magic that I feel drawn to. It's not a type of craft that I think I would ever practice myself. It was very ceremonial. There was a lot of working with tools, and I don't do a lot of working with tools. A lot of my spells are like energy work and like glamour and things like that, rather than, you know, I need to lay out certain tools and leave certain offerings and do certain chants in a certain order. With my memory issues and my brain fog, it's just not It's just not a type of craft that I could perform, as well as my energy levels are not great. But I really enjoyed reading about them, reading about how people who are Strix, which is a type of witch, how they performed their rituals, how they still do now, how this particular witch performs their rituals. It was just really lovely to read about that. And I will say though that it would have been nice to have maybe more mention of how to make this form of witchcraft accessible. Not everybody is able-bodied, not everybody is able to do high ceremonial magic, but maybe to have options of like, if you want to do it this way, or you could do it that way, or if you're unable to do this, then you could do this. I think having more options and being a bit more open to making this magic accessible to more people would be just top tier. Not many books do that even now. Many people within the witchcraft space talk about how to make spaces more open for people of different colour, for people who are different genders or sexualities, which is amazing. And there's barely any mention of how to make spaces more accessible to disabled people. We are the largest minority in the world, so do better, authors, is all I'm going to say. And that's not a thing just at that author, that's just a general thing to all authors. Just give it a little think about it, okay? The writing in this book, as you will see, is tiny writing. I don't know why they've chosen to do the text so small, but at times I felt like I need it, like it was very blurry to me. I do get a lot of blurring with my eyesight, and I think that's linked to my fatigue issues. But when I'm trying to read a book and the text is this small, it's almost impossible. At times I felt like I almost needed a magnifying glass or some kind of magnifier to make it so I could read it. So that's not great. I will say it's a light book. It's easy to open. It's not heavy or stiff, which is really good if you have hand pain or hand issues. This is not difficult to hold. I do just think if you do have sight issues, maybe consider getting it on audiobook or on Kindle so that you can alter the size of the text. One part of the book that I loved, as somebody who's new to the Greek Pantheon, who's new to Greek magic, having whole sections about different gods, how to work with the different gods, how you would put this god with this god, or how you, in what situation you would work with a certain god. That was brilliant. I found it really accessible in that I could understand. I have been recently reading a book called Mythos, I think, by Stephen Fry. I'll put the cover here. That's really good, but it's very detailed and I've been struggling a bit. But I found that when I was reading this book, the Strixcraft book, in the section that was talking about the different gods, I was remembering them from reading that Stephen Fry book, so it kind of solidified my knowledge, which is minuscule, about these gods. So that was really good. I really enjoyed that. There is a whole section about creating shrines and working with particular gods. It was very repetitive. Honestly, I just felt like they'd copied and pasted the same section and just plunked it into different sections and changed the name of the god. There was no need to keep repeating themselves. They could have simply said, replace this part with the name and replace this with this, like copy and pasting. It wasn't literally copied and pasted, but it felt that way. It was very repetitive, and I found myself being like, next, and kind of skipping parts, which I hate doing. Someone's taken the time and effort to put their knowledge on paper. I hate to feel like I'm skipping because I'm bored, because I feel like I've read the same bit over and over again. So it would have been great to have maybe the ritual written out once generically and then state how it could be changed for each god. Would have worked a lot better, I think. And throughout the book it was really nice because they weaved the mythology all the way through it. The information about the gods were all the way through the book, and it really just cemented how much this pantheon is worked with in Greece still. And that was something that I found really inspiring. Like, yes, if I put my time and effort into this Pantheon, I'm going to feel closer to my family, who I do have family who are still living in Greece, I assume. It meant that if anybody in my family works with those gods or uses their mythology in any way, I felt closer to them, and that was lovely. It was so, so nice. So I really liked that. One last thing was that it was so great to hear about the fact that these stories, this mythology, was passed down through storytellers and bards. It's not written down somewhere. It's not like they have a version of a Greek Pantheon Bible. There's no scripture, no holy book that you can go to and read to learn about these gods. It's just orally been passed down through generation and generation, and now it's written in books. We're very lucky for that. It just helped me though to get in my head, oh yes, so that's not written down in scripture, but it's still something that I can research and look into. It just gave me a little bit of a touchstone because I was brought up Christian, and so it gave me a little bit of something I was like familiar with, if that makes sense. Because there's points when you start working with a new Pantheon where you always feel like, I'm never going to understand this, I'm never going to know what's going on, you know what I mean? But I really enjoyed this book. Overall, I did like it. I felt it was a type of witchcraft that's very ceremonial, and not many people are going to practice it. It's probably more done probably in Greece or within Greece. I've never heard anybody talk about this type of witchcraft before, but it was still really interesting. I've still got tons and tons of little bookmarks in there, so you know that I got a lot out of it. I do have a grimoire where I write everything that I learn in, so I'll definitely be transferring some of the information from this into that book, but I don't think I will be becoming a Strix witch, just because of the fact that it's very ceremonial, quite high magic it feels, and that's just not something that I practice. But I enjoyed the book. I would recommend it if you are interested in getting into Greek magic and you are more interested in the ceremonial kind of high magic. Go for it, give it a read. It's very, very interesting, and I kind of want to make this mask because we do have an owl. His name is Merlin, and we have, because of that, many feathers. I don't know how I would make a mask out of his feathers, but I kind of would love to try. Let me know if that's something you'd like me to do here on the channel in a comment down below. And then what are we reading next is your next question, and this cover is just beautiful. This cover, just take it in, it's so beautiful. So this is by Matt Orin. He wrote Psychic Witch, and it's the psychic art of tarot, opening your inner eye for more insightful readings. I've never wanted to be a psychic. I've never read The Psychic Witch. However, I do work with tarot quite a lot, and so the idea of using psychic abilities while reading tarot just really made me excited, and it looks like a really, really good book. Also, it flops open really easily, and the text is small. Right today, I couldn't read that. It's very blurry, but we'll see. I'll let you know how I get on with this book, but I do like how floppity it is because my hand pain won't play up. So yes, I will leave information about both of these books down below if you would like to know more about them. I don't leave links to where you can buy them. You should buy them from your local bookstore, or remember, you can also ask for books to borrow from your library. So go and use your local library and save some money. So I'm really, really excited to get into the next book. Definitely let me know down below if you've read this book, if you pre-ordered Matt Orin's new book, if you enjoyed Psychic Witch and you think I should read it. Let me know all the things down below in a lovely little comment. While you're down there, don't forget to leave this video a cheeky like so that I know and the YouTuberverse know that you enjoyed it, and then we'll sprinkle it out just that little bit more. And lastly, if you are new here, don't forget to click that subscribe button, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here on Mondays and Fridays. I always do my very best to be here with you every week, at least once a week. Take care everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful, magical week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!